because I think I had sinuses plus some digestive stuff from eating a bunch of food that I hadn't that was different from what I'm used to eating.
Hmm, that'll do it.
How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. Um, chilling, man. Just been busy with stuff, but things are good.
What have you been up to?
Um, so a couple weeks ago, Kat and I went on vacation for a week. My grandma has a timeshare in that we were able to, she can't use it because she's not traveling because of COVID, so she let us use it, and we got to go for a week, and it was really fun.
That's
Uh,
nice.
it was pretty nice. I'd say that's just about all I've been up to. And
How's your grandmother doing? I know you went to go visit her.
yeah, so we visited her at the beginning of it, or it's like a two-part thing where I took a week off and then we visited her for the first few days. She's she's like doing she's immediately stable, but she's doing pretty rough in general. Um, just like her heart's in not good shape. So it's the kind of situation where I don't know if it's gonna be like in a month or a year or whenever, but I'm just trying to cherish the time I do have left with her, you know. But in the immediate term, she's doing well.
Good. Let's. I was under the impression that you were basically going for a final visit at the time.
Um, I kind of was. I mean, that very well could be the final visit. Uh, like, you know what I mean?
I do.
So,
The I still think it was the right decision.
thanks for saying that.
Well, it's not like you need my approval. I just wanted to put that out there.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Uh, but it was nice because then after I spent like a week with her and stuff. Um, we got to go like relax and celebrate. So bittersweet time off. Anything been going on in your world?
Nope. Just day in, day out stuff. Focusing on the routine. Keeping it going. Basically, just exercise, work, and VOD reviews every day.
Gotcha. Are you enjoying it? The routine?
I think so. So I think that's one of those things where it's just a matter of if you don't, then it's not something you would realize right away. But I'm pretty satisfied with it so far.
Good.
I'm hoping I was. There's rumors that we're going to start having the option for 4 day work weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that would be a pleasant change on my end. So I do have Monday, Tuesday off, but I assume you would rather wait until all of my symptoms are gone, regardless of whatever I have.
Yeah, that would be preferable.
Uh, Mainly because uh, it's more than a cough for some of the people you interact with. So
I appreciate you being respectful. I can't tell you the number of times that like I show up to hang out with somebody and they're like sneezing and coughing and didn't say anything leading up to it, and then it puts me in a weird situation where I have to be like either be like, "Sorry, dude, I'm going home," or like put myself in
you're
a
uncomfortable. Yeah,
unsafe, yeah, uncomfortable environment. So,
I understand. Trust me. The Yeah, that's pretty much how it's been for a couple years for me personally now. So I'm literally the only person in my department who wears a mask. The
oh, really?
Yeah,
Brutal.
yeah. So the entire section of my store, I'm the only person wearing a mask. And then I had somebody the other day actually come up to me and ask me why I'm wearing a mask, and then he told me his wife works at the hospital,
Uh,
and he said he refuses to wear a mask. So I'm
at the
like, okay,
hospital, or that his wife does?
that he refuses to wear it even though his wife wants him to. And I looked at him and I just straight up said, I'm not sure why you would tell me that, like that's supposed to be respectable, but I'm glad you're proud of disrespecting your wife, I
I know.
guess. like, like good for you. I'm glad you guys are not happy together. I'm very confused. Genuinely, I've never been more confused by a human interaction in my life. Oh, and the best part is he wears a mask every day. He just never wears the mask. Like he chin straps it, and we're
Oh
not
God.
required to wear masks. So I don't understand why he's
What's
doing it
the
in the first
point?
place. Exactly. It,
That's so weird. People are crazy, man.
I think he's just not right in the head because he also tries to protect the sample trays from me, which I've gotten samples from him twice in months, and he does it every day.
Mm,
And like he'll actually, if he sees me coming, he'll actually grab the tray and leave so that I can't get to it.
nice. Sounds like a real nice guy.
Oh, he's a charmer. He's a real charmer.
But he's a real hit with the ladies.
He thinks he is, I think. He came up to me and apparently he had asked somebody if he could see their ass because they said they had a sunburn on the back, and they said you can't see it, but it's like right around my thighs, and he basically asked them to show it to him, and they said I'm not taking my pants off. He said you sure? And he said that they walked away from him and wouldn't talk to him anymore, and
He couldn't figure out why.
yeah, and he said he basically asked me what I thought about it, and I said I think you did something very inappropriate and you should apologize. And he said, "Well, I'm not going to. Could you apologize for me?" And I said, "Why would I apologize for something shitty that you did?" That doesn't. I said, "You're a grown ass man. Apologize for yourself."
I would love to know the life experiences that got him to this point. Like,
He's one of those people who walks around to tell other people that he's from New York.
hmm. Really, I was expecting like a super southern redneck person. That's
No,
the image that came to mind.
he's just an asshole expat from New York.
Gotcha.
So it's so great. I enjoy seeing him interact with human beings and him just completely. I would feel bad if he wasn't such a shitter, and he's like in his 50s, so he
Oh
should know
my
better.
god.
So yeah, exactly. So like with the sample table, I'll actually intentionally walk to the samples just so that he will try and hide it from me. And normally I wouldn't mess with people, but in this case, my perspective is that he's basically just trying to be malicious to me. But he has food that I can't even eat. So, but he doesn't know that, which makes it funnier to me.
So he's hiding it from you
Yeah.
unnecessarily.
Oh, absolutely.
Just it
So,
sounds like he does a lot of things unnecessarily.
yeah. He yeah, he it's pretty good. It's funny stuff. So he's one of those he's very elitist over really weird things. Like I think he's under the impression that he basically runs the store as from his samples, and apparently the store manager doesn't even want him sampling things. That he just keeps like taking taking every sample position, including when they want somebody else to do it. Then he'll tell them to go away, and nobody cares enough to tell him no. So
Sounds like a
uh,
burden.
yeah, so he's like asked for his sales reports, and somebody asked him, "What sales reports are you expecting here?" And he said, "For all the sales that I created from sampling. How will we keep track of that?"
I want to meet this guy. I need to come to your store. Just what
Yeah,
department is he in?
he's always hanging out around the deli at the USF store, usually in the afternoons.
That's the one where it's like that little circular island in the middle, right?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly correct. Yeah, so he'll usually be over there blocking one of the aisles.
One of these days I gotta come check it out.
I do recommend. Just don't let him know that you know me, or he'll he won't interact with you.
He'll make assumptions.
Yeah,
Um,
he'll think you're out to steal his samples.
maybe I'll just do it. I'll do it as a anonymous shopper.
Apparently, he cursed out a lady because her kids grabbed some samples.
Dude, you know what I gotta do? I gotta take the samples and I'll put them in like a little plastic container and then bring it to you and then like
Oh my god. I will take it no matter what it is. I might not necessarily eat it, but I'll just take it and hold it and treasure it. Maybe I'll
I'll
like
push the
pretend like
limit.
I eat it.
I'll
Yeah.
see how much I can get before he's like, stop. And I'm like, okay.
he he will. He absolutely will. The
I we can make bets on how the number of samples I can take.
he actually doesn't think that samples are for sampling. He thinks that if you take a sample, you're supposed to buy it.
Mm.
So he thinks it's like a test drive, but more committal. So like he gets upset if somebody takes a sample and doesn't buy the product.
Dude,
So
my success rate for buying something that I've sampled is like 1% of the time.
yeah, it's what it's there for. It's literally just a matter of it's there as advertisement, no more, no less. Like
Right.
if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. It's not that serious.
For real.
Uh,
Dude, how was CEO for you, man? I meant to message you, but I was pretty I had a lot going on. Your boy, you coach Sonics, right?
yeah,
Dude, that's so awesome. And
we actually recorded a coach's corner uh, in a room at the venue.
oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
so just wait. Apparently, the camera lost power midway through, and so we tried to do a second half on a Discord call, and we've been that so we did that the day of him winning. Like we walked from the stage to that room to do it,
Nice.
and it hasn't been uploaded, but that is the next coach's corner is him talking about Sonic.
Dude, I refresh like my YouTube like probably once every other day. I will go and like search Coach's Corner to see if there's a new episode that dropped that like maybe I missed the notification for cuz I eat that shit up, bro. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Honestly, I same. I like to read the comments.
Really?
So yeah.
Dude, I like to read comments too, but like I just like mentally like just prepared like Twitch chat to just regurgitate opinions, and that's usually
Oh,
what
absolutely.
happens.
It is, but it's really my favorite thing is when a video gets uploaded and people are responding and like 5-10 minutes into the video with a conclusion. Is it as if it's not an hour and a half long video? It's like posting that you saw the movie within like 10 minutes of the movie coming out. Like, bro, you did not see the movie.
Right. Like they're just ready to go with their opinions. I agree. I think that's so stupid and funny.
It's
The
hilarious.
one of my favorite things that I've seen is just the amount of people that have really strong opinions about the Steve Banning and Kazuya Banning discourse, and like they just throw out these essays, and I'm like, dude, the chances that like that you even compete in this game is very low. Like I don't understand how this affects you personally, like because top players that you have no relation to whatsoever are struggling with this character, and now you feel like it's your personal mission to just badger people in Twitch chat and on Twitter and blow stuff out of proportion. Anyways,
Oh,
it's just
my personal favorite is the Gluttony Wario video where
the
we
coach's
made it.
corner.
Yeah, where we were talking. The exact title was "Is Wario Good Enough?"
Hmm.
And we're literally talking, like, I think it was the week before Summit, and we were talking about whether Wario would be good enough and whether or not Gluto could do it with Wario because Wario had never done anything in Ultimate up to that point. And uh, it was basically me talking with so it was basically Charles, Ramses, Norley, and I, and all three of us had helped Gluto prepare for Summit, and so we basically talked about how he could do both. I believe we specifically like had a section where we were talking about how he do, and we said that he. I specifically remember saying he could beat Leo. He could beat every single person at the tournament and make top three, and he could also place outside the top eight. And I think he ended up like placing seventh while beating Leo at
Wow.
the same time. And so people are there, I just remember there being comments saying that basically calling us stupid for not knowing that Gluto won Summit when we explicitly said when it is.
I, dude,
I
I,
I just remember somebody posting within an hour of Summit. Like I remember looking to check because I was curious, and sure enough, there was like a comment there saying, "Of course, Gluto's good enough. He just beat Leo."
yeah, dude. People
That's
just want the
great.
quip, bro. They want the one-liner that gets a lot of likes. They don't give a shit about about the content or discourse or anything productive.
Yeah, it's so good.
Dang, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. I was
The
really sad that I wasn't able that I wasn't at CEO. Uh I next year will be my year.
Well, as far as I know, everything went down. Apparently, uh, some apparently the invitational events have been they've been having last run the brackets and seed
Hmm.
while he's coaching the players.
Yeah.
So apparently, some of the players got upset about that, and I didn't know until after CO had happened.
I saw on Twitter you talking with um Bam about something about that because it is like I totally see the ethical dilemma, uh, but also it just with the nature of Smash like being as like small it is where because it's big but it's still small where like you guys like all the top coaches are very much front and center with like leading the community and so it seems almost impossible to have the tournament organizers like not like those your opinion and Ramsey's opinion and Charles's opinion and Lass's opinion on seeds and stuff all matters and it just so happens that you guys are also the coach not just so happens but like it makes sense that that correlation is there but I don't really know what the solution is for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just to make sure they don't touch things that can directly influence the bracket, and that I should not have, like, for example, judged Sonics versus uh, Riddles,
I
because I
got you.
remember Sonic specifically asked if he could take a break, and I asked him if he was going to the bathroom, and I specifically asked it as a leading question, which I wouldn't normally do.
I see what you mean.
So, like, I was biased in that. Now, it was actually in the rules that the players could take a break in grants, so it was fine. But it's just a matter of like I personally know that I was biased on that, even though it didn't have an effect on it. So like it would be hypocritical for me to say that it I didn't touch it. But with that said, the for the most part I didn't touch anything that I could really influence the bracket. So I was pretty much just doing data entry and making sure all of the bracket runners were getting their stuff done and then taking over when they couldn't. The I also talked with Tweak for a few hours while we were
Really?
waiting for top eight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do,
So
do you guys have any Sephiroth discussion?
that was specifically what we were talking about.
Cool. Oh man, I'm fanboying right now. Tony
So
talking with Tweak about Sephiroth.
yeah, I specifically talked about when you and I were watching him versus Jackal.
Really?
Yeah, and I told him that I basically told you that he was playing it like Donkey Kong, where he's just looking for grabs and using nairs, and not actually using the sword until after he hits him.
Hmm.
And he thought that was hilarious.
I
He
could
he
see that.
he said he hasn't heard many people tell him that, but that's how also how he sees the character as being Donkey Kong.
That's so
So
funny.
the yeah, basically just told him these are some of the things that I've been teaching people to beat you with. These are what you can do about it. Yada yada.
That's cool. Did he seem pretty receptive to the feedback?
Huh? Yeah, he was interested.
Cool.
So
That's awesome.
the so yeah, I told him I am always willing to give him feedback if he asks me for it. So
That's awesome.
uh, I just thought you would appreciate that because I know you are a Tweak fan.
I
So
am.
it he's very or he was very pleasant. So most of my interactions with Tweak are him being pretty, what's the word I'm looking for, distant. So
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think that like he's fascinating more than anything because I know sometimes like even recently I watched one of his Tweet Talks podcasts where they were talking about what you told me a year ago, and everyone is finally arriving at the conclusion that side B is not like most of the time the way people use side B, F tilt would be better almost all the time. And he was saying how he agrees that that is the case, but that he is not going to do that because he likes the mind games of the side B. And in stuff like that, I'm like, dude, you're kind of an idiot. Like in some situations, like how are you such a smart idiot about some stuff? He's so stubborn.
yeah, we talked about that. So like I specifically told him though that I actually think it's fine. You just have to reorganize how you view the game when you do that.
Mhm.
Like you're not playing for situations where you can side B them. You're playing for situations where they play around your forward tilt instead, so that you can side B them, and you intentionally cover that space with something else to condition them to go into the side B. That way, you're not specifically. If you're not going to do the right thing in the right position, then you need to force them into a position where the things that you are going to do are correct.
Yeah,
So
I
stuff
don't
like
know, man.
that.
F tilt just sounds like a better idea.
Well, I agree. I usually have very simple solutions to a lot of people's problems, but just because you have a simple solution doesn't mean people can execute it. So part of helping people is giving them solutions they can execute. And even though they can execute something physically, doesn't necessarily mean they have the mentality to do it. And so I used to get really frustrated with people who wouldn't do that, but now I just look at it as similar to someone who has like a disability.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's really something where they just consciously decide to be shitty. I think it's just a matter of it happens or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And that it's the ability to execute a simple strategy and just win is a talent. So it being absent isn't really a sign of somebody being bad, it's just something they don't have. So, and that's basically just more of a perspective that it's more normal for people to have weird hangups like that than not.
Hmm.
Like, for example, telling somebody, hey, you should just play X or Y character, and you don't even really have to change how you play the game, and you'll do better, and then they won't.
True.
Things like that. That reminds me, I just looked at Smash University, and I also remembered they had a tournament. There was a Why Sephiroth is winning tournaments,
Yeah.
and there was people complaining that Sephiroth hadn't won tournaments because he just won one, as if Sephiroth hasn't won like 2 or 3 majors in Japan.
Right.
And so they're trying so hard to actually us that they're just making complete assholes of themselves, and I think it's just hilarious.
Dude, and it never stops. Like consistently, you can go to the comment section and know that those assholes will be there.
I know it's great. So I personally enjoy it a lot. It's just watching people make fools of themselves while trying to be malicious is hilarious.
There's
Yeah,
nothing certain in life except for death and people being assholes in comment sections and not knowing what they're talking about.
it's great. Yeah, I just opened it up a week ago. Somebody replied he won a single major and only at top games, and now Sephiroth is suddenly winning tournaments. That's
Mm,
so good. That's awesome.
yeah, people, man. Well,
And
oh, go ahead.
we literally commented on it and talked about which sets Ken used Sephiroth in and why, and explained his reasoning on it. Because Ken has been explicit about when and where he uses Sephiroth.
Right.
Because he thinks people are really bad against Sonic, and that it's really hard when people know how to play against Sonic. So he switches to Sephiroth for those, because he feels like he can take advantage of them. So, and speaking of taking advantage of them, I don't understand what's going on with the stream layout here.
Yeah, it sucks. That's I was trying to warn you a little bit. The so it's two streams going simultaneously uh during the bracket, so it's pretty hard to watch. I recorded them with my AverMedia, but they're still uploading.
Yeah, well, can you follow it on the? Because it's smaller on Discord for you. So, like, I can still follow this. It's gonna be distracting. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a bigger struggle for you personally.
I feel like I can. I feel
Okay.
like I'm chilling with it. Uh if you can. If it gets to the point and you're like, you know what, F this, we can just wait till Monday and then I'll have like a regular VOD for you.
Yeah, and I should have plenty of time because I'm off Monday, Tuesday.
Nice. I work Tuesday, but I am off on Monday, so that is a great day.
Okay.
Um, the so for the bracket run last night, I lost in winners to Chuck Fug in this set that we're about to watch. Uh, and then in losers, I was able to win the best of five. But I like to be honest, I the entire time I was like, I'm getting my ass beat right now, and like I was just trying to play really well, but I truly had no idea what to do about him like T-jolt camping. Like without committing like pretty hard, and I committed pretty hard and it paid off like sometimes. Um, but I just felt pretty lost with like how to because Pikachu T-jolt camping like doesn't super fit into my game plan, and I was trying to adapt one on the fly, and I did it well enough, but I feel like if I were to play Chuck again in a bracket today, I would be like super nervous that I was like not gonna know what I'm doing.
Well, the good news is that Pikachu sucks.
You think so?
So, have you ever looked at Pikachu's frame data?
I haven't really.
All right. Well, I'm gonna read you off, and bear in mind these are multi-hits, optimal, perfect landing aerials. Pikachu Fair is -10, -9 on block. The -9 version is uh, described by ESAM as being difficult.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
back air -12, up air -11, optimal. This is assuming they don't hit the top of your shield, by the way.
Right.
Uh, Nair is -7, but Rising Nair is not. So, Rising Nair is 38 total frames. So basically, the last hit of Nair is 21-22, not including hit lag, but hit lag doesn't really affect your drift, so same principle. So it's 22, but Pikachu's short hop fast fall is 26, which means a Rising Nair is always going to be -11 at
Yeah.
best, which means that the Sephiroth have anything that is in that ballpark out of shield.
Footstool Dare. He can't nair out a shield. Drop shield is 7 frames.
11. It's 7 in
Oh,
previous games.
okay.
Yeah.
So then you just reposition, which is what I opted for most times in this set.
And then at that point, what you do is you just mix up not repositioning, and then he uses a rising aerial, and then you can always nair those. But generally, anything that Pikachu doesn't pancake on is something that you can nair out a shield. And he has to block it. Except here's the thing, because of the way that works, so Pikachu is so short that if you do a short hop nair out a shield, it'll whiff, right?
Right.
But if Pikachu tries to press a button, then he extends his hurt box out and it doesn't whiff anymore. So it only whiffs if he defends, so that you're basically safer than normal. And if he attacks, then your nair will stuff his movement option that chases you. So he has to basically defend for a few frames and then attack later. So I am more so pointing that out when we look at this, is we're actually going to be looking to see if he tries to buffer his follow-ups, because if he buffers his follow-ups, nair out a shield should actually stuff it.
Okay.
Stuff it and scuff it. And then, of course, as we already talked about before, just doing something like jumping past him and putting out a back air while staying out of the range of him attacking or bursting should shut that down. So, yeah, so whenever Pikachu comes out with T-Jolt like this, you generally want to use an aerial or try and side B through it. So you should be able to side B the T-Jolt head. It specifically has to be the head, this little blue part.
Mm-hmm.
So you can charge that and it should go through and eat it. So there, the reason he grabbed you there is because you whiffed the back air. So you need to specifically practice back air and crouching Pikachu. So have you been practicing hitting crouching Greninja?
Not as of lately, and I really should.
Okay, well, if you're hitting crouching Greninja, I believe that's actually harder to hit
Then yeah,
than
it is.
crouching Pikachu. So the idea is that you can go ahead and just hit him here. So that's literally just a matter of that's working because there's like a skill floor that you have to be able to hit. So it's just a skill check to see if you can hit Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there, same thing. He hit you for whiffing a grab to grab Pikachu. Dash grab if you're going to stand. So don't grab out a shield, dash grab.
Okay.
Because you don't have time to shield grab. Yeah, that's fine. So see how he can't follow up on that swing. So that back air didn't come out. So far, you've been hit 3 times for trying to shield grab and then just straight up not swinging. So all you have to do is just execute well enough to get your buttons forward tilt spacing down. So that back air, you want to hit the head. So there you were trying to hit Pikachu instead of timing it to hit T-Jolt. So if it helps, you can set the AI to spam T-Jolt and also set it to mix up jumping if possible.
Okay.
But even if it's just spamming T-Jolt, just move around the stage while hitting the T-Jolts with back air.
Okay. Like a target practice.
I think you can also nair.
I'll mess around with it.
So the idea... Excuse me. Sorry, I still got that cough.
You're good.
The idea is that if you just move around and hit your execution, that you are just going to outplay him on a technical level. So everything you've gotten hit by so far is just you failing basic technical checks. So you're losing your single player game.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing you have gotten hit by so far, or the correct answer to everything you've gotten hit by so far is the same practice you'll get from just an AI spamming.
Right.
So it's just a matter of it's a smaller thing that you're trying to hit than usual. Like that back air you could have nared. So you can nair the T-Jolts also if that helps.
Yeah, I didn't think of that in the moment, and I hadn't practiced it.
Yeah, you can move around with nairs a lot. So don't be afraid to use nairs. So obviously on that one you can just nair that, but also here, if you think he might T-jolt, so that's T-jolt. So he's hitting you with T-jolt 2, correct?
I don't know what you mean by T
So,
jolt 2.
so he or sorry, T-jolt quick attack. Sorry, quick attack 2.
Oh yeah.
So he upbees 1, misses you, and then hits you with 2. So quick attack 2 is frame 29. Is the first frame of it.
Okay.
You are already in the air. So 29 minus 20 frames gives you 9 frames to react. What do you have when you're in the air that could outtrade or just straight up beat the quick attack?
On frame 29.
Frame 9. You have 9 frames
Uh,
because you have to account for the time it takes you to react.
I mean, if I only have 9 frames and it takes 20 frames to react, I
No,
don't.
you have 29 frames and then
Oh,
20 frames to react and then 9 frames to respond.
so Nair is frame 9, and that's really the only thing I have that's fast enough.
You also should have counter.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So you can counter or nair. Now, bear in mind, if he quick attack behind you, quick attacks behind you, uh, and then you're reacting, and you react a little bit slow, he can quick attack into you, and it should miss the counter because you're facing the wrong direction. But yeah, that's the general idea: is that you can nair or quick attack it, or sorry, nair or counter it on reaction if you're moving around preemptively. So you're moving around outside of his range anyways, because you want to be just moving around his range so that you can swing a sword preemptively, see if he'll move into it, things like that. So you can react to Pikachu basically stalling in the air. Pikachu has a very unique animation, and you can practice reacting to it. And you can just set Pikachu to practice rotating different animations. And you don't have to set it to him quick attacking you directly. You just have to react with A button if you see the quick attack. And even if you're on the ground, you can also jab it on reaction because your jab is frame 5. And then your jab 2 comes out, let's see here.
So you're saying the startup of quick attack, like react to the startup of quick attack, the
Yes.
animation.
Yes.
Okay. But the first one comes out on frame the first hit, it looks like comes out on frame 15. So like am I
So quick attack is limited in range. So the space you're already playing around. So you're playing around his dash shield range, right?
yeah.
So right now, quick attack 1 might barely hit you, but if it does hit you,
Oh,
it
I
won't
see.
combo into quick attack 2 because it'll pop you out of the way. And so he'll have to quick attack you 1. It'll pop you up here. So in order to hit quick attack 2, he has to go up into the air.
Right. I see what you're
So
saying.
so Pikachu's have to overshoot with their quick attack 1 naturally, which means that if are you're already going to be close. So if you're already playing around that distance and they need to be further, then what'll happen is even if he does hit you with quick attack 1, it won't combo into quick attack 2. And on reaction to you getting quick attacked, you want to just land and put out a forward tilt. Because it's basically going to be minus like 30, 40 on hit.
Yeah, let's go to the calculator. Sephiroth, Pikachu. All right, so attack, or it looks like it has 10 frames of hit stun, and Pikachu has to finish it around frame like 5266.
It has 24 frames of landing lag, by the way.
Okay. So then after the first one, you got about 10 frames till the second hit comes out, or until the second quick attack like goes, and then you have 24 after that. So it sounds like land F tilt would be cutting it kind of close.
So just to be clear, what's happening? If you're in that situation, the Pikachu player did not want it to happen. So what happens is Pikachu hits you with something, and they know it's not true, and they're literally just going to capitalize on you panicking, and they're just going to run in and try and catch you while you're shielding. And so
Okay,
they're gonna run into whatever you do.
I see what you're saying.
So you want to make sure you're downward angled or downward angling your forward tilts, by the way,
Yeah,
because Pikachu doesn't. You are not worried about Pikachu spacing out around here, right?
right.
So your forward tilt downward should still cover Pikachu like drifting into you with fair, or it'll trade. But the thing is that Pikachu's Pikachu's only single hit aerials are up air and down air. So you win every trade by a lot. So trades are almost the same as you just raw hitting them.
Right.
Sometimes they're actually better for you because it'll hit you. And so how much lag does forward tilt usually have?
Um, what do you mean, like on shield or like total lag? About 20 frames, 21 frames of lag after the hitbox is out.
Okay, so Pikachu has uh so I have actually on versus Terry, not Sephiroth, but yeah, we'll switch it to Sephiroth. So versus Sephiroth, uh, at 100% now, uh, the hit on fair before the final hit has 16 frames of stun. So the second hit has 19, the first hit has 20, the third and fourth have 16. All of those are less than 21 frames, which means you'll either be at or 1 frame faster. And then if it's better than that, then you'll actually finish forward tilt 5 frames faster, and you can actually reposition sooner and start up a back air.
Okay, like assuming like immediately after he tries, like I just go and land and try an F tilt, and he tries to attack right after he finishes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like if he nairs or fares into you and he hits you right when you forward tilt him.
I see. Okay, so it's like it's cutting it close, but like that's okay.
Uh huh.
Okay, because it would be a trade. Yeah, I'm scared
I'm
of
talking
trades.
about time. I'm not even talking about damage. Damage wise, you do more than 10 times the damage
Well,
per hit.
right. I when I say trade, I just mean us like both get hit. Uh, like because then that, uh, like that's like a reset to neutral for the most part.
No, that's what I'm explaining. Is it's not a reset to neutral. It's in Sephiroth's favor.
Oh, because he gets hit a lot further.
Yes,
Okay.
and longer. So I'm saying that you will actually have less hit lag.
Oh, okay. It just clicked what you were saying.
Or yeah, so you'll take less. You'll be able to act sooner than if you had forward tilted and whiffed.
I gotcha.
And then on top of that, so for perspective, so that was with Sephiroth at 100, by the way. At 0, oh, never mind, it's set. So yes, it's going to be the same regardless.
Oh, okay.
So the for perspective, at 0 for Pikachu, your forward tilt is going to have 25 frames on the sour spot of stun. So I'm looking at the downward angled hitboxes, and it's going to have 26, or sorry, 25, 27, or 26 frames, depending on whether you get the sour inside strong hit or the sour spot. So no matter what, you're +4 on that trade.
I see.
So you're +4, and then on top of that, after Pikachu finishes the stun, Pikachu's still taking knockback. Whereas Sephiroth takes almost no knockback, so he's already in control of his momentum.
Right, right.
So basically, on top of being +4, Pikachu can't drift into you.
Mm-hmm.
He has to do something that halts his momentum, like quick attack. So you can basically, like on trade, you just short hop in with a back air. And there's nothing he can do to stop you because he can't reach you in time.
I see. Okay.
So it's not just about the percent. Like if you guys didn't do any damage to each other, it would still be in your favor.
Right. No, I get what you're saying.
So, and then on top of that, it's also worth just for the damage trade. Because you still get a forward tilt hit, whereas you take almost no damage. Like you take less than a Mario Fireball. You take like half a Mario Fireball. And you would be happy for that trade too. So
Right.
yeah, it's so extremely in your favor to make trades in this matchup. So here you're down tilting. You don't have to attack him. Now, I assume you did it because you thought that he was not ready for you to attack.
I'm trying to.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so you want to tech roll away from Pikachu and force him to chase you when possible. He can chase you. It's just a matter of it's harder, and Pikachu players are already hard. So there, instead of back airing, well, first of all, if you had finished the back air, it would have hit. But second of all, if you want, you can just use Nair. So you have to remember your Nair actually outranges and outdisjoints his entire aerial moveset except for quick attack. And it still extremely outdisjoints quick attack. And will beat it just straight up. Because something you need to understand is that Pikachu's hurt box stretches out pretty far on quick attack. And so have you seen the hitbox for it?
Yeah. It's pretty small.
So it's literally his neck and nothing else. So
and his tail sticks out pretty far.
It does, but the tip of his tail is, or like 2/3 of the yellow part of his tail is disjointed. But it's same general gist. Like it for whatever reason, his heel on his foot has a hurt box.
Yeah,
Literally just the heel of it. It's like a separate dot. And his pelvis for reasons I don't know. So the yeah, what an oddly yeah. Anyways, the for whatever reason, yeah, he's just a big hurt box. So it's extremely more or less disjointed than Spin Dash, and Spin Dash is also fairly negatively disjointed as well. So the idea is you can just hit it. Like you just Nair. Nair beats his whole moveset. And then he still can't punish Nair on reaction. So you can just move around his range and Nair a lot. Like that fair, you can just use Nair. Like the fair is fine, but it's a matter of just understanding how effective Nair is. Now you don't want to just Nair because you want to rotate things, but the idea is that if you're ever not sure, just Nair.
Okay. Yeah, because there's not a lot they can do.
Yeah, like here, you could have beaten every single interaction here with Nair. Like here, instead of dashing back, you could have dashed back, short hopped away, and Naired. And it'll follow up here and then bounce up and hit your Nair and get eaten by the Nair. And then you continue on your movement. And then here, your Nair would have obviously clipped him there. And even if it didn't, you would have been an advantage there. You could, if you had landed with Nair, he would have quick attacked into it. Here, if you had landed with Nair, you would have traded with this fair. And what would have happened up is it would have like stalled you right here. Sephiroth would have stuck for a little bit, and then you immediately just jump into him with a sword. Because he's going to get popped up here and you're going to be plus again. Like in this particular case, yeah, you would have been plus 16, so it actually would have comboed into you double jumping at him and fairing on trade.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, dude. And just to be clear, the +4 was with Pikachu at 0. So most of the time, you're going to be super plus. So you can basically just start up a back air anytime you trade with him, and you can just fight for trades, tweak style. Same thing here. You can just short hop Nair instead of shielding. So Pikachu can actually be plus on those. In case you didn't know, Pikachu's up throw is stronger than Rob's.
What the fuck?
Also, don't try and punish Pikachu's dash attack on block.
Okay.
It's safe. So just reset. Reset or jump out. Those are the main two. This balancing doesn't make sense moves that he has. Just dash attack and up throw. So I think, if I remember correctly, dash attack can actually be -3 or something like that. So he can actually jab after the dash attack and it'll stuff your jump. Yeah, so there again, your back air just straight up isn't coming out.
Yeah, I need to start practicing.
But see how you nared right into him with point blank and then didn't get punished for it, and then you landed with nair there, hit him, and got to just jump in with a sword. You grab him. Yeah. So here you played that stock tweak-esque where you're just looking for nairs and grabs when he starts shielding around the nair. But like your nair actually beats him being in the air. You just wanna don't get caught standing still.
So like that one, did you see that back air? Like it whiffs and it just feels like, I don't know. It's
So
just crazy because it came out, it looked pretty good. It looked like a frame off, and then I don't get to hit him at all.
that's
What?
fine. So that wasn't because of you messing up the back air. That was because he pancaked on his aerial.
Okay.
But notice what he does after. So don't focus on that interaction. Focus on the follow-up. Whenever you can't punish something directly, look at what they do after. Like you literally could have just turned left and grabbed him.
Right.
So just after you whiff that, they're going to hold shield. And they're going to react to shield coming out and not getting hit. Which means you actually have enough time to short hop nair out before they can react. And then if they react to you getting that, like there, see how he waited for it to hit his shield? And if it didn't hit his shield, then he holds shield. Like there. Like see how he paused for a long time when you whiffed the forward tilt there?
Mm-hmm.
So you can overshoot a lot around Chuck Fug. Like there, you nared into his shield. So you can pretty much just whiff and he won't react. Also, when in doubt, just use ledge jump and go high and force Pikachu to knock you off stage. And then just be ready for him to overcommit. And then on the last hit, just up B to the ledge. Like here, you could have just gone. See how he's preemptively covering it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so move around with nairs against Pikachu. Don't block Skull Bash because it pops him up like that. Instead, just counter it.
Okay.
Like you can just counter it on reaction to him releasing. You don't have to run up into it or anything, just counter. Like just wait for him, keep your finger on the button, and react to him releasing it. Because it takes forever.
Yeah.
But if you do it on reaction to him starting it, then you can do it too early and he can charge it and then punish you.
So that was a successful footstool dare, but that he just got the animation. I mean, successful in the sense that I
It
inputted
works.
it correctly.
Yeah, so the down airs. Yeah, so after you show him the first down air, don't double down. Just come back with the back air immediately. So the frame disadvantage of you catching yourself in shield after the second down air because you knew you didn't have time anymore led to you getting caught before that back air could come out. Yeah, so here, just back here. So don't try and ledge trap Pikachu much. Just focus around him trying to quick attack on stage and let him have the corner.
Okay.
And then you can just fight him around the corner. So obviously that up smash paid off because he was T-jolting like a dumbass.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but I was pretty proud of myself with that one because I tested it by dashing towards him a couple times earlier in the match to see what he would do, and every time he didn't care, so he would just do it again.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with the Nair. If you see how he reacts to something and you see he's not reacting to this obvious tell that I'm giving him, then it's a 50-50. Either he is reacting to it and you can condition him and make him play around something that you haven't used, or you can just let him ignore the tell that you're giving him and then just run up and hit him.
Okay.
So that you did that correctly. Good job.
Thanks.
And that is exactly how you're supposed to set up for one of those smash attacks. Yeah, so this is fine. See how, again, though, how you go for that whiff nair, and that's normally a bad nair when you go for the second one, because they can chase you down and then counter hit you, but Pikachu can't because he can't actually interact with your nair. So he just had to get out of there. And if he had tried, he would have gotten hit. So there, if you had short hop naired away, so you want to use a lot of nairs. And
Okay.
eventually what he's going to start doing is he's going to start waiting for your nair to happen and then hit you after. And when that happens, you can start putting out a back air again. Don't forget you can nair the T-jolts.
Yeah.
So you can ledge nair onto the stage, or you can just ledge fair, eat the T-jolt, and then if he tries to run behind it, he gets caught. Yeah, be careful about that. So that's the second time you double down air.
Oh, I do it
But
a
it's
lot
full
more.
pattern. Well, you can do it once, and after that, you just want to play around them playing around it.
That's fair.
So he's going to
Yeah.
hold the ledge for a while, so that means that you can do for things like, if you see him holding ledge, you can just go for ledge trump. Yeah, you didn't need to use your double jump there. So if he had punished it somehow on the startup, then you were dead. Like all you had to do was ledge drop, double jump, T-jolt at you, and you were dead because you used your jump for no reason. Do you have tap jump on?
No.
Okay. It kind of looks like you did.
No.
Yeah, see how you keep blocking it? You don't want to block the T-jolts. The whole thing... Now, Chuck Fug wasn't good enough to take advantage of this, but Pikachu is supposed to follow up on and like fair into your block or something after you block the T-jolt. Yeah, that's good. So you land with an air there. You could have just countered the Skull Bash there. Would you have died?
I think
We'll look at it
so.
again.
Let me see.
So it would have been
on
right
that
here.
second one, I would have died. So here's the thing: if it hit, I wouldn't have died because it freezes me in place. But if it whiffed, if he didn't hit the detection hitbox, I would have died.
Okay. Well, you would be doing it on reaction to him shooting it. So to be clear, Skull Bash is frame 18.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just doing it on reaction to him doing that. And you have to remember, unless he kills himself with a Skull Bash, you couldn't really go lower and recover. Yeah, so you should have landed with Nair there probably. Just in case he quick attacked in. So you should be dead to that up throw. He should have up throwed you and killed you.
That's just true?
I believe so. I appreciate the mix-ups there. You handled that nicely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so here, see how you stop when you see T-Jolt on the screen? And then you go for the up smash. That was not good up smash.
Yeah.
I assume you expected him to try and T-Jolt again?
Yeah, I was kind of testing to see if he adapted, and he did. I think I die here. Oh no, I saved my jump. I still die, but I was happy I got back.
Yeah, so what you wanted to do?
Yeah, tell me. I feel like there's probably a better answer.
Immediately directional air dodge to the ledge
Okay.
is the answer that you were looking for.
So, but once I'm in this situation, there's not a lot to
Yes.
do. Okay.
1 second here.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, several seconds. All right, sorry about that. Somebody asked me for notes on someone in their bracket.
Fair enough.
So I just wanted to ask someone for permission to copy paste someone else's notes to that person.
I
Because
love it.
I generally try to not steal people's work for obvious reasons.
I think that's a very kind thing to do. Very
So
respectable.
the all right, so to continue on, yeah, so there you wanted to just directional air dodge. I'm just gonna fast forward this because I hate chain sequences like that. The yeah, so there you went for the panic up smash.
Yeah, I
If
started
you
freaking
had,
out.
it would have been fine if you had just immediately dropped, but you
Yeah,
did the
you're
back
right.
dash
You're right.
first,
Yeah.
so you can't do both. Yeah, so here he's mostly waiting on you retreating out. So he's mostly waiting on you to retreat out. Like you see how he's kind of chilling out in the outside of your range. So he's basically playing around like your dash attack range.
Mhm.
So the whole point is that he is just playing. I'm trying to think how to say this. He's trying to wait outside of your range so that you can't hit him before he can react, which is why you see him crouching down there.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So what you can do, so if he's moving out of your range, then what is he not doing?
Attacking me.
Right. And what can you do if people aren't rushing you down?
Uh, like take stage from them.
Yes. What else? Like what are your main game plans in general?
Like put
What
out
is
like
what,
retreating aerials to cover someone moving towards me.
yeah. So like what is he actually doing to stop you from just retreating out of back here?
Nothing.
Right. So as long as if he's not doing anything to actually stop your primary game plan, then why aren't you just doing your primary game plan?
Because he has the lead, which I know is a bad answer, but that's why.
So the remember that you can always or I would rather see you time yourself out, not as in oh I'm going for timeouts here, but as in play your game correctly, and if it takes time, it takes time. It's whatever.
It's just so hard for me to wrap my head around the concept of um, like me being down like significantly, and then uh, just trying to time out the opponent.
Well,
Uh,
you're not really trying to time them out. You're trying to cut them off from attacking you. And then if they don't want to interact, and their goal is to keep you from interacting with them, then you guys keep each other from interacting with each other, and we get to play a different dimension of the game. There's still plenty of interaction from there. It's just a matter of you're not pressing a button and hoping it hits.
how so?
So,
Like a war of attrition, like who's gonna fight out first?
so what is he gonna do to avoid you if you're just putting out retreating back airs?
Stay away from me.
And
T-jolt.
okay, so then it's a matter of well, how do you put out retreating back airs while he's T-jolting you?
I back air the T-jolts.
Right. So is that a matter of you trying to time yourself out, or is it a matter of you're weaving through an obstacle course while you're also keeping him out?
The latter.
So it's basically it turns into a mini game where whoever stops playing, both of you have to play the other person's mini game, and you can't do whatever you want, and whoever tries to force it loses.
So, but that doesn't sound like a retreating back air though. Like that sounds like a
That's a pair of actions. It's a retreating back air, and then you come in with a nair, and then you retreating back air,
okay. So you don't even
and then
think I should try to take space with the back airs? Because I originally thought that you, with this point, you were gonna go towards like, yeah, maybe start trying to do advancing back airs.
you can, but you want to establish a safe zone for yourself first. Remember when we talked about how Spargo sets up a
Yeah,
safe area and then he
like
jumps in?
painting that area.
Right.
And, yeah.
So you're using a nair and back air to kind of set off, okay, I'm going to hit these T-jolts, and if you also tried to run in behind them, you got hit. And then what Pikachu either does is he'll try and challenge you, and then you do a retreating back air. But if he tells you, I'm just going to keep doing retreating T-jolts while you do retreating back airs, then you both retreat, but then you jump in and you claim his stage. And so what he's supposed to do is T-jolt behind and then walk up behind the T-jolt and claim the stage. And then it's up to you to recognize that he's closer and to give up a little bit more stage to compensate and let him walk you into the corner. And
Okay.
then from there, you play a different game because you're Sephiroth in the corner. And so it's a matter of are you going to attack him, stay and put, or pull back and go up to Sephiroth on the ledge, which is a different kind of character that's also still strong.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess so. I understand the the like game plan structure that you're explaining. It's just like in practice, I just feel like that it's so much more demanding of me to back air these T-jolts than it is for him to like put them out, and like the risk reward feels like it's not in my favor, which is like the or like Because if I fuck up and I get hit by a T jolt, then chances are, like I am about to get like he can approach me after that. Um,
It
th-
feels that way, or it played out that way?
it feels that way.
Okay. Well, I'll make you a deal. Give it a try, see how it works, and if it plays out that way, then we can see what they're doing and figure out counters to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you would have liked to see is for me to do like when he's T jolting to back air the T jolt, then claim stage with a nair to and hit the other T jolt, and then
Mhm.
retreat with another back air, like and just repeat that process, that pairing.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not giving up stage at all. And I'm not standing still. I'm switching between retreating back air and approaching nair to hit the
Like
T jolt.
you're still staying out of his range. It's a matter of you're playing around and then you want to react to him doing anything to move toward you. Then you like if you see him start a dash, you immediately nair on reaction.
So if I play that rhythm game for the entire like 7 minutes of the match, like you think that is a success? As in, I'm
Mm.
not saying that rhetorically. Like I genuinely, I'm just trying to figure out if I play Chuck Fug again and I am able to accomplish that. Like, do you feel like that is like,
Yeah.
uh, that's good? Okay.
Yeah, if he's hitting you for it, he's hitting you for it. That's whatever. And if that's the case, then just don't mess with the situation at all. But I would rather see you force him to show you he has it twice in a row. Does that make sense? So play around it, not just being a fluke. Uh, so after the first time, just run away for a little bit, put out like a back air, jump onto the platform, run around, try and circle camp for a bit, throw him off, and then try it again. See if it was just a matter of he had the position on accident or not. And then if he's got it, he's got it. But have we seen him punish a single with Nair here? So,
No.
and okay, so all of the data we currently have up to this point in the match says he can't deal with it. So now, if we are watching this and Chuck Fug is in the call, do you think Chuck Fug is going to know to figure that out?
I mean, yes.
Okay, and how would you tell him to solve that?
Like what you just said, where to T jolt and then walk up behind the T jolts to claim space.
That's strategically, but how would you tell him? What would you tell him to deal with your nairs?
To attack me after I like whiff it.
Okay, and how would you tell him to practice that?
Hmm. I'm trying to think through training mod pack what you could tell him, but because I ideally you could have him mash or have Sephiroth mash short hop nair and then buffer shield when he lands. I guess you could do that.
That's basically what I would recommend.
Okay.
And so the idea is right now, you're not playing around Pikachu, you're playing a Chuck Fug's Pikachu.
Hmm.
So to beat Chuck Fug's Pikachu, we're going to ask, can Chuck Fug's Pikachu deal with Nair? So far, has the answer been yes?
No.
Then we know that Chuck Fug's Pikachu is vulnerable to you using whiff Nairs. The only Nair he has punished has been on shield.
Hmm.
So if you're whiffing Nairs around his shield, including Rising Nair, he didn't react to it. And then you can start mixing those up with retreating back airs, because if his job is to punish you whiffing the Nair on reaction, and you switch that with back air, then he's just going to jump into the back air, correct?
Hmm. Yeah.
So him playing around your back airs loses to you nairing, and if you can even use reverse nairs and undershoot to catch him, and assume he's going to jump out and hit you preemptively, and nair him jumping at you. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So you're focusing on hitting his nair. Assume he attacks you before you attack him, and nair and then reposition. And when you're repositioning, preferably do it in a way that lets you nair again soon. So do like a back dash or an initial dash away short hop nair, so that you're canceling the initial dash into a jump. and it'll give you a good amount of momentum in your naring, and he can't punish that on whiff anyways, just because of how much disjoint is between that and Pikachu. The only thing he can whiff punish it with is Quick Attack, but Quick Attack also loses to Nair, so anytime that he beats your retreating Nair, a retreating back air probably would have hit him.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
One moment here. Alrighty. So yeah, that's why. Excuse me. That's why our game plan is the way it is. So this isn't a Pikachu thing. This isn't even just a Chuck Fug thing. This is a Chuck Fug Pikachu thing.
Okay.
So that's very specific formula. Uh, so you have your base game plan versus pretty much everyone, and so this is how we're modifying your base game plan based on how, because you did your base game plan here. Now you didn't do it very well because a lot of your back airs didn't come out. So you can do that better. So
Okay.
you're already going to work on that, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Like just getting your
Top
back
of the
air come out.
list.
So you're already going to work on that, but that wasn't the only reason. So once you fix that, and then that's the second layer that we're going to add to that that's specific for him. And so the question is, what is he going to answer that with? And then we just addressed he's going to do it by playing into a way that loses to your first game plan. And so basically we cycle back, and so it's a full RPS. But you have it down to essentially a 50-50. But for him, he has to play a full RPS. And so the question is, so how do you beat him just retreating out? And the answer is then you just work on. So I believe my favorite phrase from one of the Brawl Diddy Kongs was putting wheels on the fort.
Putting wheels on the fort. Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense? So
Yeah.
look at the overall movement that you're using when you pull back, then come in, pull back, come in. And then, so picture that as like being a structure or a building that you're creating. And so how can you slowly wheel that building closer to him to basically push the wall toward him and eventually push him off the stage unless he interacts with the wall?
By just advancing more than I retreat.
Yes, and very slightly.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it a lot. It can literally just be a half a step. It doesn't have to be literally stepping. It can just be the difference between how far you drift out on your nair.
Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
yeah, so that's how you're gonna do it. So if you look at it in slow motion, it looks like you're just repeatedly camping. But if you look at it at 2 times speed, you're gonna see yourself slowly jumping in closer, and it's gonna look like you're just walking at him if you played at 2 times speed, but like in a circle. So you're like, if we play it really fast, it's gonna look like this,
Yeah.
where you just slowly push him over. And then obviously at any point, if he interacts with you by moving into you, then he gets hit and you can take up the stage control. And then you basically run up and then do a short hop back air so that you don't slowly and you just take a quick burst of stage control and then return to cycling through in a circle.
Yeah. I like that answer, or like that makes a lot more sense to me than like I just kind of do the fortress until time runs out, because I do feel like needing to like you said, like the using the moving fortress to like make him feel like pressure is like enough where I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Like I can get behind that. Whereas just like going to time without like doing anything with it makes me feel like not so good because it feels like there's nothing I don't know. It feels like a giant technical check,
It does. So,
which
and
it
that does
is.
make it more complicated. So, if you would rather, you can just look at it as something to build toward. But that is ultimately what we are building toward.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, uh, so see how he crawls back after the T jolt instead of running in,
Hmm.
and so he shielded the counter, and then he's retreating out, and then he bursts back in with quick attack. He holds shield, and then after he backdashes. So basically, he always backdashes. He always crawls back, things like that. So something you can do is you can just dash attack and dash grab after, but I don't recommend. Like it's just not worth it because him backdashing when you're backdashing is generally favorable to you because he wants to be close to you. You don't want to be close to him. Like you're not upset about it. It's just a matter of it's not something you specifically want.
Right.
Like there, see how your back airs still work and still cut off. Like you can't punish that if you're getting the back airs so that they hit. So now you're doing it higher and cutting it off. So on that counter there, because then he comes here. Yeah, you did it too late. You want to do it preemptively so that it'll trigger on the T jolt. You want to counter the T jolt. So here, I think you
Counter.
blocked it first. You got hit first. Yeah, if you had done it on this T jolt here, preemptively, it
He
would already be
die.
going off.
Yeah.
So this fundamentally is going to be T jolt stun plus, I believe, shield drop. So let's see what T jolt stun is. 12 frames, so 3 plus 9 frames of hit lag, so 12 plus 11. So you're doing this 23 frames late, and he barely back aired you. And you could have double jump nared there. In general, you want to nair a lot when you're moving, just incidentally, just because if he quick attacks into you, like you can just use, you know how Tweak was just like full hop nairing, double jump nairing, things like that.
Hmm.
So the idea is you want to just keep moving and not stay in the same place while moving around him with nairs. You good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you were writing notes or anything.
I was, but I'm still ready to go. I figured that you were responding to someone else real quick, and that's why we paused. Sorry.
Okay. No, I would tell you that I was
Okay.
going to take a pause if that was the case.
I'm recording our thing too, so.
Fair enough. Yeah, I told you both times I was going to pause. It was literally
Yeah, you did.
one pause to make the request, and then one pause to send them the information. So I already had it copied down to send, and just needed to send it.
Sounds good.
So
Can we back up like 10 seconds in the
yes, yeah. So same thing here. That's where we were talking about your Narins. And then here, this is back airs. You want it. So if you are going to block the T-Jolts, just parry it. So that was you going for the up smash. Worked out fine because he was quick attacking. Yeah, so it's not worth going for that. His dash attack actually KOs you. So your D smashes are significantly less useful than usual because he can just quick attack around it
So
to get his follow ups.
that quick attack right there that I got hit by before the up air, like I could have. What you're saying is I could have avoided that altogether because I'm outside of the range of quick attack 1, which means that quick attack 2 starts on 29, which means I essentially have 29, or I have 9 frames to do something and a response, right? Like I'm trying to figure out how to play around the quick attack better because he just like quick attacked full screen.
So we'll go ahead and replay this real quick. So there he caught your. I think you reacted to that. So what? Ideally, we want to go over this situation. It's 3:37 on the second game, left on the clock. Ideally, we will want to go through that with frame advance, but I believe you are reacting to the quick attack with a dash back. So if you had short hop nared instead, I believe you would have actually hit him with a nair.
Okay.
Now, granted that the follow up situation wouldn't have occurred is profitably for you, but that's more of something that you can't replicate consistently. So there you nared. He just air dodged on reaction to the nair because he's not trying to mess with it. Again, you undershoot the nair with it. He just holds shield and you can just dash grab him. Now you do want to be careful about the dash grabs just because he can down smash out of shield and consistently, or spot dodge dash grab and consistently down smash you or up smash, but presumably down smash just because it doesn't cross up very well. Or sorry, up smash doesn't cross up very well. So here you could have just landed with nair. Especially so, it's worth noting that if he doesn't specifically, like if you land on the back of his shield with a nair, he can't up smash it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm not, to be fair, if you do a landing nair, he can't up smash it anyways because his up smash is frame 10. So unless you hit the very top of his shield with a nair, you can pretty much always shield. But the point is that generally whatever he's going to do to punish it out of shield is probably going to be his frame 7 back air or his frame 6 nair or his frame 7 up air. Those are things that don't KO you until very, very late, like 170-ish. Fresh by the ledge. So the risk reward is not very good unless he's also edge guarding you, which he wasn't.
Okay.
And then like there he kills you with dash attack, but his dash attack is frame 17 out of block unless he parries. So it's frame 6 dash attack, but the idea is that
Shield drop.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So as long as you're nairing the back of his shield or landing with nair at all, unless he's just making super hard callouts, like if he's close to dash attacking you, then your nair will just beat out his dash attack because it's more disjointed than dash attack. Like I have the hitbox in front of me. So his hurtbox actually extends past his head, and then his hitbox extends further past his head. So it is disjointed, but it's significant. That's only in the strong hit. The weak hit is disjointed in front of him and very slightly disjointed above him. But nair for Sephiroth. Now, bear in mind, remember how I told you can use the back side of nair?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what's the most disjointed part of nair? Is the back.
The back part, yeah.
So if you're already using nair like it's a back air, then there's nothing he can do. Like it will always beat dash attack. So he specifically has to dash attack the landing of your nair, but not too fast, but also not too slow because nair only has 9 frames of landing lag. So
yeah,
there's a very small window where he can actually punish it.
I guess. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say because the window is so small, it's because that window is so small, he just can't get it consistently.
Yeah, it's. I guess I'm just afraid of it because I'm like, oh man, this snare is only active for 3 frames, so if like I don't intercept it exactly, like then I'm getting dash attacked for this.
Well, so it's kind of like the same thing, and I know you're not saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do it," but I just want to be clear on how we're looking at this systemically. They the idea is that you want to try these things and then see if it plays out so that we'll have data.
Yeah, okay.
So try. I don't want to say just ignore your feelings so much as educate your feelings and try out the theory. And then if it's still not working, and bear in mind, I essentially am just doing this off of theory as well. So it's not a lot different. It's just a matter of I have more experience and feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why. So the idea here is that just try it. I am entirely open to being wrong.
Gotcha.
However, we'll have more anecdotal information to prove whichever. And I have no attachment to being right or wrong on this. Like if you get fucked up for it, I will tell you. And honestly, I'm not even going to say sorry because it's just a matter of the whole point is we try things
Yeah, yeah.
and bear in mind I have a fairly educated guess because I have helped multiple people
Right.
beat the best Pikachu, and so like I do have a frame of experience in the matchup. So it's a
You've
matter
beaten the
of
best Pikachu, right? Not in this game, but
I personally have not.
oh, I thought
So
you beat Esam once in a money match or something in Brawl, or maybe it
no,
was.
no, definitely not.
Oh, really? Okay.
No,
I'm mistaken.
no, I've helped a lot of people beat ESAM in every Smash game except for Melee.
Dude, maybe I dreamed that. I don't know. I have a very vivid memory of you telling me about how when you used to like VOD review before anybody even considered doing so, and like you read something he did to win the match, and you said it was a read, and he said that's bullshit. There's no way you could have known that I was gonna do that. Does that ring
Yeah,
any bells at
yeah,
all?
yeah. So the first person, or so the person I learned about VOD reviewing from. So bear in mind, I'd been VOD reviewing before Smash. It was more a matter of actually writing down notes and hypothesizing what people would do based on information you've actually seen. I stole that from Havoc in Brawl, or
Oh,
learned
okay.
it from Havoc in Brawl. So he was a SoCal player, very intelligent man. He kept a blog. I'll link it to you later. I believe it's called the Electric Scribble. And he
Interesting.
would. I think his original blogs that I learned from were still there, so I started writing down people's habits because I had the concept that you can write down people's habits.
Mhm.
So the idea, though, was that it's just a matter of I have applied theory to the general idea of Pikachu's tool set in multiple games to success, and so I am inherently going to value my opinion on it. So the it's just a matter of for what we're getting on the first though. So the idea is we want to look at the actual data that we have. And so, like for example, do I normally tell you to whiff a lot of Nair?
No.
So that's because I don't normally think that's very good. I am saying that based on my interpretation of what I am seeing in front of me.
Hmm.
So I am a believer in doing what works, and I'm seeing something that works even though I don't think it should work. And then I'm telling you, well, if it doesn't work, it's because they're going to do this. And it just so happens to be that so do this is what you want to do it anymore.
Right.
So yeah, it just naturally works into your game plan. Now, granted, that's part of the way, or partially because of the way I am considering this is with your game plan in context. But that's the whole point. So, your feelings are valid. It's just a matter of we want to test with things that work. Now, if there's a matter of you think, oh, I think this will work, then we'll try that too.
Okay.
But if you're saying, I feel like this won't work, I would rather us just try it.
Yeah, the data. Yep.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
So I basically, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this. Don't say no to things until you've tried it. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's fine.
Just like
But
drugs.
we should try it. Yes, exactly. So you should absolutely take heroin before your big test and just find out, does this make me smarter at math? And then when you overdose, it'll just be, well, that didn't help me very
It
much.
didn't- yeah. That's
Perfect.
just one data point after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I definitely am. Oh, if you tell me to do something because you think it's gonna work, I will absolutely try that.
So I am not against you trying pretty much anything. So if you ever say I think this will work, I will say to try it. So excluding things, we should always be biased toward trying things out.
Mm-hmm.
If in doubt, try it out.
That sounds
So losing is not a problem. It's like whether you win or lose isn't necessarily related to your growth as a player. Trying things out and learning from new situations, being creative and trying new ideas is how you grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with you trying whatever. However, we don't want to exclude anything until we have tried it. So that's probably what I could have just said and saved us quite a bit of digression. My
All
apologies.
good. All good.
So
I'm king of digression.
so here, like your base back air game plan is working, as long as you're not whiffing point blank. And he's doing it a little higher, and you're swinging a little lower, so it is working. Like here, you can see how he is consistently holding shield to cover you overshooting. Yeah, so there you could have full hop nared, for example, and then you can threaten to double jump nair, threaten double jump down air, etc., etc. Now you don't want to double jump down air a whole lot, just because it's something that if he thinks it might happen and he just holds still, then he can easily punish it on reaction. But so that back air, hold on, let me actually pull this up here. So Pikachu's back air, or rising short hop back air, it finishes on frame 24. Do you remember? Or sorry, the last hit comes out frame 24 or last 25. We'll say it's 25 to be generous. Do you remember what I said Pikachu's short hop fastfall is?
I don't. It is
26.
26. Okay.
So that means that fundamentally is going to be suboptimal.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll get that last hit, and then he'll drift for 1 or 2 frames, and then he'll land. Usually going to be 2 frames. And now bear in mind, Chuck Fug did not do this optimally, but same principle. You want to know how much landing lag back air has?
How much?
18 frames.
It's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah. So it's going to be 20 frames, and then you're going to be in shield for 5 frames, but you are of stun plus 5 frames of hit lag. Actually, sorry, it's 11 frames of hit lag on the last hit. I believe it's 5 frames of stun on the landing hit and 5 frames of hit lag on the landing hit. So you're basically going to lose control of your character for 13 frames, but you can't react to the difference anyways. So that means you're going to lose out 7 frames of reaction on what is ultimately a 20 plus frame window, which means it's going to be about minus 13 in practice if you're reacting to him just landing the back air, and you can time it. There's no mix up here. If he does a rising back air, he can't do it sooner. He can just do it later.
Mm-hmm.
And so his mix-up is that he short hop. So short hop back air should frame perfectly auto cancel if he doesn't fast fall it. But if he doesn't fast fall it, then that means he's going to be drifting for 12 more frames, just in the air, just chilling. And then he's still going to have 4 frames of landing leg. And again, there's no mix-up. You just wait, and then you let go of shield right after the last hit. Now, I don't think it's possible. Actually, yes, it is. You should actually be able to parry between the second to last hit and the last hit. Wait, hold on. Never mind. I forgot about stun. So yeah, you have to wait for the last hit, and then you just drop shield after the last hit, no matter what. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something you can very easily practice. Is just set Pikachu to mash back air, and practice letting go right after the last hit.
With the attempt to parry it, like I'm trying to parry it.
No, you're trying to reverse parry it so that you just barely always miss the parry.
Oh, okay.
And it should leave you just plus a few frames, which should give you enough time to get an initial dash out of there.
Okay.
You also always have enough time to short hop back air, and he will never be able to get out a short hop aerial before your back air comes out.
Gotcha.
So you can just short hop back air, drift away from wherever he's landing, and easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And remember, Chuck Fug doesn't react unless an aerial hits his block, so you can also put it out above his shield. So it's really just short hop and then C-stick toward Pikachu on reaction to where. So you're timing the short hop and reacting to wherever Pikachu drifted with his landing, and then pressing C-stick toward Pikachu. And then just keep drifting away. So there we got our down air. He just waited and shielded. So see how he's constantly playing around your max burst?
Uh-huh.
So as long as you don't try and run in and hit him, you're fine. So as a reminder, sometimes your stray hits just kill people. His don't. He has to have you on the ledge. But like your back air on the strong hit will kill him across the stage right now. Because Pikachu is one of the lightest characters in the game if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, see how you keep attacking into his shield?
Yeah.
So you're acting like he's a sword character and you've got to get in or else you're going to lose.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
So you're basically, yeah, that's not how it works though.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. If Pikachu can't get in on you, he can't hit you. Like there, you just killed him off of a stray back air. You weren't even trying to hit him. I think you were just trying to hit the T-Jolt. And it just naturally covers both because he's drifting into the T-Jolt. And then you should be dead for that. You should have been dead. He could have just run off and down aired. And like there, you could have just double jump countered into the forward smash and he would have died. And you're damn, he dropped that. Yeah, he didn't even have to grab. He could have just up smashed on reaction. Likewise there, he wanted to. So he knows you're going to air dodge. When it's like that, just double jump air dodge away.
I was like, why the flow state took over on reaction to that? I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Oh. Yeah, that was not worth. Yeah, so they're back air are trying to back air that same thing. Could have, like, you could have put out a back air to hit here, to hit his get up plus his ledge jump. Like, same space, if not the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have killed just the same. But then he can't just run up and dash attack you for it. So again, he punished you with back air out of shield if you near his shield. But if you're undershooting it, it's fine.
What do you mean undershooting?
Like not trying to hit him. Hit it. So assume that he moves out. So hit the Pikachu around Pikachu with the nair. Like here. Hold on. So here you want to either nair up here or a nair here.
I see.
So anywhere in this area. So focus on landing like right here with your nair, so that if he tries to press a button or dash grab you or something, he gets hit. If he stays in shield, he's chilling. Because you don't need to nair his shield. Because the whole point here is that he's using the hit lag to react. So if you don't give him hit lag, he can't react. You turn off Chuck Fug's reaction. Like there, see how he just waited there and stood there? He thought the nair was going to whiff. Yeah, so there, you wanted to use probably nair instead of fair, but even if you had used the fair here, if you just pulled back on it, you would have been fine. So see how you pulled back on that fair, but then the detailed after pushed you in? So that's why that happened.
Dude, I almost died for that.
Yeah. I think it's because of the DI. That's hilarious. It's quite the trade. But yeah, the general idea is you can attack into the T-Jolts, and unless Pikachu's waiting for you to hit the T-Jolt and then punish you, it just beats Pikachu trying to attack you. Now, to be, like, see here how he's trying to come in after the T-Jolt? So you had to back roll away, but what someone like Esam will do is they'll run up, and on reaction to you shielding, they'll dash back, and then if they see you roll, then they'll go out. So there, here when he clips you, you wanted to immediately directional air dodge to the ledge. Like when he hit you with that, you could have just directional air dodge to the ledge and been fine.
Yeah,
But
I need
you
to work
never.
on that. I never do that.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. Yeah, so it's an opportunity that I think I mentioned before, but it's just popping up more frequently here. And don't get me wrong, they can't hit that, but if they're hitting that, then they're opening themselves up for you to just fast fall, charge up B instead, because the timing is very different. So you want to side B on reaction to the T-Jolt. Now you side B.
Yeah, I guess I just never knew what part to hit.
The head.
Yeah,
So here,
yeah, go ahead.
so it bounces like this, like in an arch. What were you gonna say?
I just didn't know that the hit. I thought the whole thing was the hitbox, and I could never figure out why sometimes it went through it and sometimes it didn't. But it's because it's the head, the ball that just keeps bouncing, and it's not a whole. The whole thing is not a projectile.
So how do you interpret Ness is up B?
I mean, in the same way. I thought the whole it. I guess I don't really know because I feel like I sometimes get hit by the tail, and it like confuses me.
So have you? Yeah. So the tail is a hitbox, but it's not a hurt box. That's why he can hit you with the tail and hit you repeatedly. But if it hits you with the tip of it, it just disappears.
Okay. Does Pikachu's work that way?
Yes.
So the tail
Except
is still a hitbox.
Yes, it's just not a hurt box.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that, or like even know that that was really a property that a projectile could have. I either thought that it was interactable or it was not interactable, like Wolf, neutral B, or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair. So now you know, and that's something I think if you turn on hitboxes, it might help. I'm not sure. I don't remember what Pikachu's looks like in training mode.
I can mess with it. That's like really good information to know that I never knew.
Okay, so yeah, that'll help you a lot. Playing around T-Jolts was one of the greatest opportunities for improvement that you had in this set. Like that. That was clean. Yeah, so basically anything that pancakes like his back air, his fair, etc., you can footstool down air those consistently. Anything that's double digits, just don't do his. Don't try and do that with his nair, because the timing can be pretty ambiguous. And if you're wrong, then you get hit pretty hard. Actually, honestly, I because of the way Chuck Fug punishes, I don't think he's gonna get a big punish for it. So you're welcome to try. Just take advantage of him trying to hold shield after, and sometimes you should just drop shield, turn around, grab him, or drop shield, pivot grab, instant pivot grab.
Yeah. I will. Do you know of any other resources or like because I've been practicing Footstool Dare as Shield, and it is so hard and like because it's just you're hitting a moving target of not knowing because you have to know their animation, you have to know the frame data, you have to know like when to start it, and sometimes if you do it too early, you won't get the footstool hitbox. Do you know of anyone who just absolutely just kills the game on footstool Dare out of shield?
Peebnut,
Peebnut.
Mega Man player, Christian Ladagno.
All right, I'm gonna watch some of his shit. Anyways, proceed. Thank you.
He gets Mega Man Metal Blades out of shield and Footstool Leaf Shields also. And Footstool Leaf Shield should be identical to Footstool down here.
Yeah, I just wanted to see it was possible. Like, I wanted to watch a player that does it pretty consistently.
Yeah, he gets it. He gets it on everybody too. So,
Cool. Thanks.
my pleasure. Yeah, so here you did better when you were just playing around it instead of trying to hit it at all, because you didn't know how to interact with it. So, if you don't think you can get it, just play around it. But at this point, you're better off getting hit by it because he has to dash attack or grab you. And those are the only ways he's going to KO. And then, to be fair, forward air would have killed you also. So Pikachu's really good once you do reach that percent at getting the kill, because he has so many incidental things that kill you at very high percents. But he struggles a lot until you reach like the 160-ish area.
Mm-hmm. See, like right there is a time where I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. So the good news is that these are all things that are abnormally practicable. That's not a word. Uh, these are all abnormally effective things to practice in training mod, because there are different ways Pikachu can do it. That was nice. So again, instead of neutral air dodge, directional air dodge at the ledge.
Yeah.
Like here, you wanted to go
Yep.
down at a diagonal. And then here you could have just gone down here at a diagonal like a Firefox. And he still might have down aired you, but he would have been over here and it would have hit you with the sour spot.
Right.
Because he had to make a big play there because he's so far behind. Again, you want to start off with a forward smash as soon as you come down from the angel platform if you're going to do it all. And that's that counter. Remember when 1P spiked you for that same thing?
Yeah.
And that was how he two-stocked you on that, I believe it was game 2.
Yeah.
So you always do that when you're down, as you go for that counter. So yeah, the first time, every time somebody puts you off stage, after you're down on game 2, well, game 3 in this case, you're gonna go for that counter to try and come back. So that up smash that you went for in the last game also caught again. You can counter that on reaction to it.
I just am not familiar with the hitbox so, and the distance traveled, so I didn't know if it was gonna reach me, and I didn't want to whiff it in his face.
It's something you can test in training mode. So,
Correct.
I'm not saying that was a mistake here. It's just a matter of it's something you can easily remedy. So everything you struggled with in this set, pretty much, aside from the knowledge of T-Jolt, was something that, actually even including that, everything you should pretty much be able to fix with just practicing reacting to these things with training mod. Yeah. I was about to say, after that one would have hit you, it would have popped you down here and you could directional air dodge to the ledge.
Is that what I did?
No.
Okay.
That was another counter. So if you get the strong hit of Skull Bash, it can kill at 0-ish. Because I think it... Hold on, let me look it up.
Can you test that in the calculator?
It does 21.4%.
I don't know what the multiplier is on counter. Are you using the calculator to figure that out?
Kind of. I'm more so looking to see if it has the actual modifier for knockback in particular. So the Scintilla modifier itself... Actually, that is not correct. Hold on. So it will max out the Scintilla counter.
How are you able to figure that out?
So the max Scintilla damage is 18, and the max Skull Bash is 21. So if it is a less than 1 modifier or multiplier, then it would still max out the counter.
Okay.
Which basically the question is, what is the strongest counter you've seen from Sephiroth, and would it kill?
I see.
So the Pikachu Skull Bash is going to be 10 to 21. So let me look up that modifier. I actually did have it open and then I immediately closed it.
I think it changes with wing, I think.
Should... I am very annoyed that I cannot find the multiplier. So I might actually understand how it works. Okay. Yeah, so it actually has... It's just linear. So it's linear and it maxes out at 18%. So it just matters how much the damage the attack did. And anything 18 or higher, so if Pikachu charges it like 2/3 of the way, it'll kill at 0. If you get the strong hit. Now, to be fair, it should get weaker. But still, same principle. If it's full stage, you can just walk up while keeping your finger on the counter.
Okay.
and you don't need it to kill because it. So normally I wouldn't say you want to use a horizontal move when you are in the corner, but in this case it's going to do so much knockback it'll push them to the other side, and you can just take full stage control anyway. Yeah, so this is good. So the difference here, look at this movement while you're in the air. Once you grab the ledge, and ask if how many nairs you could have put out on that time.
Yeah, like 3.
Yeah. And would it have been harder landing nairs, or would that have been 3 auto cancel nairs? Or 3 nairs where you wouldn't have affected your momentum or movement at any point?
No, I could have just done the exact same movement, but with nairs.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong, what you did is not bad. I want to be clear on that. It's not a matter of what you did being bad. It's a matter of it can be better by literally just adding these things in for free.
Right.
So generally you don't want to do things like that because there's an opportunity cost to them. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, like what were you waiting to react with?
Nothing.
So in that case, it's less of an opportunity cost and it's more of just an opportunity.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of nairs you can put out, and then if he can still come out and hit you with an up air, but as long as you're ready to air dodge him, like if you see him running directly under you at any point, immediately air dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he up airs you and you come over here and you see Pikachu enter an initial dash, immediately air dodge, because he's gonna try and thunder. And even if he knows you're gonna air dodge, what's he gonna hit you with?
Right.
So, like Pikachu's not very good at calling out air dodges. Like he's gonna hit you with something, but he'll hit you with like a 10 damage aerial like that. So that's perfect. He actually does. He literally hits your air dodge with a 10 damage attack, I think. Yeah, so that's his call out. And it's more than 10 damage, but same principle. Like you don't really care. Like that's not how he's gonna win the game. And then here, just any straight like that fair could have been an air or something. So using lots of full hop nairs is good here. Then yeah, so that could have killed. Like you were a percent or so away from hitting that and killing. Then that was just a forward tilt, and you can just back air these all days. You can land into that with a nair, and then immediately forward tilt after you nair, things like that. And so the issue with blocking / parrying Pikachu's projectiles in particular is because they're electric, they have a high hit lag value, but that hit lag value only applies to you.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the stun and the delay on Pikachu hitting you is exactly from that hit lag. So actually, let me double check here. Yeah, so there's 9 frames of hit lag and 3 frames of stun. So 75% of that is just from the hit lag. So you're better off hitting it itself so that it doesn't have an electric effect. All right. So that's that set. So what are you going to adjust going forward?
Back air practice. Practice hitting Thunder Jolts specifically with back air and nair. Um,
Also back airing or jumping over them with a back air.
okay. That's a good one to add. Um, or just nairing in response to like into quick attack, like trying to nair it. Just putting out more nairs in general in my gameplay.
What kind of nairs?
Like landing nairs, rising nairs. I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Like what heights are you going? How fast? How slow? where are you going to? Like, where are you starting them? Where are you finishing them?
Um, I'm not sure, or like I'm not sure like specifically.
Okay, so you want to use big nairs. Also short hop so short hop retreating nairs. You can use full hop nairs and react during the full hop. Things like that. You want to ideally hit around Pikachu.
Oh,
So hit the
okay.
Pikachu's around Pikachu. And then if he doesn't jump into it, then you're fine with that because remember Chuck Fug's Pikachu is slow to react. And so if he changes that, what you lose being able to do that, but what do you get instead? Like what does he have to give up in order to react to your nairs?
Uh, Pressing buttons, like he has to wait.
And what can you do to take advantage of that?
Swing at him.
With what?
With a back air.
Yeah. And like philosophically speaking, the answer is things that are safe but have lots of startup. So
Okay.
anything that is safe but has startup works once your opponent starts slowing down their pace of play. And so right now the issue is that you can, because he is pressing buttons a lot, he either is going to try and react to your nair and challenge it and then lose because your buttons or your nair beats his buttons, and or you can, if he's not playing into that, then it means he's slowing down and waiting, and then once he does that, then that's when you can go back to your back airs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to be fair, I think you can do both because I think he's misplaying that on two different dimensions, because I think he's both slow to react when he does react, and then on top of that, uh, he's also not trying to react very much, which is why you want to use the nairs. But in this case, that means you can do things like full hop nair and then double jump away, fast fall back air, which is something that's normally not very good, but it should be solid against Chuck Fug. And then you can mix in just full hop nair away and then just hard drift away from him with a back air. And again, you're not trying to hit him with it, you're trying to hit him chasing you with it.
Mm-hmm. Just
Because what's going to happen is he's going to try and react to your full hop nair, but he's going to be slow. And so if he does this better, so the way he should play this correctly is when you start using full hop nairs, which you shouldn't do every time. You want to rotate. So you want to rotate how you're moving, where you're moving, etc., etc. But he's going to, if he does it correctly, he should just chase your full hop nair with a short hop drift and then up air where you're going to go with the nair after.
Gotcha. Which I can mix up.
Exactly. And so once that happens, you can just full hop nair and buffer a neutral air dodge. And then just drift back to where Pikachu started from.
And then he's gonna be in the air while I'm on the ground.
Maybe, but even if he's not, because he's... So think of it as a roll situation. So you know how when someone jumps into you and you roll into them, they go to where you were at, and then you go to where they were at?
Right.
So it's the same principle. So even if he chases your landing after you air dodge from the up air, he'll probably be in frame advantage because Pikachu's good at chasing landings, but he won't be in position to chase it, which means that you'll have enough time to spot dodge a dash grab if he goes for it. You'll be able to shield a dash attack, yada yada. And then the idea is that he can't actually true punish. And then if he goes for something like a dash grab, that you can spot dodge it and then punish after.
Gotcha.
All right. So what other adjustments are you gonna make?
I'm trying to think over because we went over a lot. That's why I record these. I'm having trouble remembering like every single
Well,
thing.
normally I would have just stopped it after game one because you already had 3 things to work on. I'm specifically doing it because you said you're recording.
Yeah.
So we're going a little bit heavier than usual because I do believe that you actually listen to these, and so I think you will get the ability to listen to this multiple times, go over it, and then specifically focus on certain concepts and then learn from that separately.
Man, you read me like a book. That's pretty much my go-to game plan every time.
So some people just record it, listen to it once, and call it a day. in which case I would still stick it at 1. But in this case, I think it's more a matter of this is actually multiple calls at the same time, if that makes sense.
Efficiency. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's because I'm aware that I can't remember all of this in like one single sitting, but the thing is, the value is in recording it. Is like you said, I will go back and listen to our calls from months and months ago and find something that you told me that I was like, I totally forgot about that. And work on it that way.
I'm gonna be honest. There's some things where I'll like have a note that I wrote down. So I usually don't keep notes for myself anymore. But there was a point years ago where I kept notes, and there's things from that I wrote a long time ago where I'll still reread them and I'll be like, oh yeah, wow,
That's a great
I kn-
idea.
I I knew that back then.
Wow.
So like I'll realize I forgot about it and then relearned it at a different point in a different way, under sometimes even a different context, which is always funny. But
And then you can connect the two. It helps you to
yeah,
simplify. Yeah. Yeah.
so some things, sometimes it's just a matter of I'll relearn it in one particular way. Sometimes it's something where I thought I knew it and then I'll just relearn it under a different dimension.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's even things like don't get hit. Like I can think of quite a few things that phrase means to me now. Whereas before it used to just mean, well, of course, if you never got hit, then you won the match and played well. But there's a lot more to it. Like,
Yeah.
how do you avoid getting hit? What does it mean that you didn't get hit? Things like that.
Right.
So,
Layers.
yeah. Now, is that what Isaiah meant when he said that? I don't know. I have no idea what was going through his mind. But I think it's correct on multiple levels in
Right.
different ways. So, uh, all right. So the next thing that so just to be clear, you mentioned T jolts
Mhm.
using nairs, uh, moving around, and what are you going to try and footstool down here?
Uh, not well. I remember you said not nair, but back airs, forward airs,
Down here too.
down air.
Like
Yeah.
actually, let me double check down here, make sure
What
that
is the
is also.
criteria for like? I mean, because I know that there's a 3 frame jump squat, and then it takes like a couple frames to travel, so it's like roughly like frame 5 or 6. But what are you? How are you deciding like, oh, that's worth?
It's not a matter of the frame disadvantage because everything Pikachu does on your block. It's a matter of how ambiguous is it.
Oh, like where he's gonna be.
Can you react to him actually landing? So, in back air's case, remember how I said it has 18 frames of landing lag?
Yeah.
That means you can always react in time and get that footstool out because it's so much like that plus the actual hit lag makes it more than reactable. So it's just a true reaction. So if I look at it and then add the hit lag plus landing frames, the question is it going to be 4 frames or 24 frames or more? Now, in Fair's case, the last hit of Fair has 13 frames of landing lag or hit lag, and then he has 12 frames of landing lag. So that's 25 frames. Back air is 18 plus 11, which is 29 frames. Nair is going to be 8 frames on the last hit plus 9 frames, which is already small. But on top of that, the question is how do you know if he hit the last hit or not?
I don't. I see what you're saying.
So it's more ambiguous, whereas the question is, oh well, I never saw a big finish, therefore I know that it didn't that window's not there, and I'm not going to go for it at all, because for Fair, half of or the multi hits do less than half the hit lag, which means that you can tell, oh, I never saw that last hit coming out, so the thing that I'm reacting to never came out.
I
So
see.
just like remember how I said Chuck Fug needs the hit lag to react, and so if you don't give him the hit lag, he won't react. It's the same principle here. You won't react with the footstool down air unless you specifically see that big pause.
Right.
So back air's hit lag on the multi hits is just over a third of the hit lag on the final hit.
Okay.
So it's going to be a very noticeable difference.
Right.
So Pikachu's up air has 14 frames of landing lag, but it only has 5 frames of hit lag, which is unreactable. Now,
Right.
the difference there on up air, and to be fair, on up air's case, I believe I said you can nair that out of shield, is that Pikachu up airs tend to be suboptimal. And so you just see Pikachu up air, and on reaction to seeing him up air, you immediately nair.
Okay.
because it does. Sometimes Pikachu's will intentionally whiff an up air because it's 26 frames, and then they'll do another button. So they'll whiff up air, and then which is 26 total frames, and then they'll nair. So frame 29, which means that if you're reacting to it, he can hit you with a landing up air. But if you're doing it on reaction to him actually up airing consistently, depending on his positioning, nair should just cleanly beat it. And if it's not, then it's because he's specifically using a reaction trap.
Gotcha.
And that is a choice, in which case we can evaluate it as an RPS situation.
I see.
For down air, so down air has 22 frames of landing lag, so it doesn't even really matter what the hit lag is because as long as it's got a few frames of hit lag, it'll be fine. Now the the landing hit it has, that only has 8 frames of hit lag, unfortunately, but that but that still gives you 30 frames to react to him actually landing that last hit.
Which move?
So is down air.
Oh.
So you reacting, so not even reacting to, oh, Pikachu hit my shield, but reacting to, oh, Pikachu did get the landing hitbox is a 30 frame window. So
Can you break down where the 30 frames come from? I'm sorry.
22 plus 8 frames of hit lag. So 22 frames of landing lag plus 8 frames of shield hit lag.
Okay.
So you're
the shield
reacting
lag.
during the
Okay.
shield lag frames, and then the landing lag is implied.
Okay.
But there is no mix up from the point that the hit lag hits. So the rest of the game is deterministic.
And if I got a different hit, if it was a different hit of down air, like not the landing hit, I would have even more time.
Yes.
Okay.
So it does 14 or 13 frames of hit lag.
Depending on meteor late.
Yes.
Late.
Now, with
Okay.
that said, I'm trying to figure out how the landing hit works. Because I'm pretty sure it should auto cancel 12 frames after. So remember how I said his back air perfectly short hop auto cancels?
Mm-hmm.
Short hop, because his short hop without the fast fall is 38 frames. Down air and nair are the exact same way.
Okay.
Except the difference is his nair auto cancels on frame 37. So he can fast fall for exactly 1 frame. So the point is that Pikachu is naturally rewarded for using short hop aerials without the fast fall. Now in Fair's case, he can fast fall 6 frames before the end of the move, and it should give him a perfect auto cancel.
Gotcha.
But that, like I said before, even ESAM finds that difficult. Therefore, I am under the impression that you shouldn't play around them doing it perfectly.
Right.
So, now the difference there is on Pikachu's Fair, he is going to tend to drift back. And so what that means, one second.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry. So what that tends to mean is that he will drift back to get the auto cancel and get full drift. But in that case, you'll see him pulling back, and you can actually just drop shield and forward tilt because he should automatically position himself into your forward tilt range. So you want to use like a dash back forward tilt, or you can just short hop away and back air as per usual.
Gotcha. Cool, man.
All right. And then what else are you reacting to or practicing reacting to?
I remember you saying something about initial dash, but I don't think that was like a specific.
Specifically, if he up airs your air dodge, or if he gets like a small hit or up throws you or something, you want to react to him doing pretty much
The
anything
initial
with
dash
air
in
dodge.
that situation, yeah. The startup of quick attack. That was it. That was the big one.
Yes.
Yep.
So you can consistently nair quick attack too if you react to him stalling in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are other things that stall him in the air, but those are also things that you want to nair and land. Because in the case of Skull Bash, because it's so much slower than quick attack, that means that you can actually nair, land,
Right.
and then
Probably
counter the skull
yeah.
bash. Yeah. So you want to nair and just keep your finger on the B button while holding down and just press B on reaction to Pikachu shooting skull bash.
Cool.
And you'll know that he's reacting because he'll say "Ka!" and then it'll shoot.
Yep.
So it'll there's a specific audio cue. So you can even close your eyes and just keep your finger on the button, and when you hear the explosion, you press B. So the what else was it? Oh yeah, you want to. I don't think we went into it very much, but don't focus on ledge trapping Pikachu. Focus on just immediately converting to back air to cover ledge roll.
Okay. Am I trying to threaten him to make him think I'm gonna ledge trap, and then just regardless of what he does, I'm just retreating to where I'm always safe, and if he rolls, he gets back aired?
The goal is that you are permanently playing around quick attack. So just always assume he's going to quick attack from ledge.
Okay. And is the max distance quick attack like an up, like he drops from ledge, up angles, or like to the like a triangle, like up to the left or towards stage, and then down to like land with the second hit?
On numpad, it'll be 4 and then between 1 and 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. Cool.
So, so you don't know what this distance is now, but you'll want to spend some time in training mod, get used to having Pikachu do it, and then you want to get used to staying just outside of his quick attack 1 range, so that he has to choose between either retreating after the first one, so you can't react to the first one. Excuse me, sorry. So you can't react to the first one, but you need to cover the second one, and the reason for that is if you're just outside the first one and you assume he does the second one, then what happens is you'll hit him if he goes for the second one. Now, if he does the first one and retreats back so that he misses the second one, or so that you don't hit him on the second one, then he fundamentally is retreating. And he's retreating with something that has a lot of lag, so you can actually start a new back air. And then you can just short hop back air in, and there's nothing he can do to stop you from lining up your back air, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, that's why.
Cool.
Alright, so. Let's see. I think that's the bulk of it. There's going to be more things we can learn, but I would like to see you adjust on those, and then obviously you're already going to be practicing hitting crouching Greninjas and Pikachu crawls and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember if there's an option to set CPUs to just crawl around, but that would be useful if it's there.
Well, you taught me the like rubber band approach that I use if I
Well,
want to make someone crawl.
I'm saying to specifically set them to crawl so that they'll crawl around back and forth. Kind of like,
Oh.
the walk command.
Yeah.
So to basically do that while they're crawling instead of walking.
I don't think that exists, but
Hopefully it does in the future.
yeah. So awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your help as always.
Oh, did you have any other questions?
I don't think so, and are not for this time. Um, I all the questions I wrote down for our session today you already answered, and I'm gonna watch a little bit of Peanut too, so I can figure out more. I mean, you contextualizing the footstool down air thing on when to go for it, like if the total frame, like the shield lag and the landing lag, add to a number that is more than reactable, that's when to go for it.
It's specifically reactable plus the 4 or 5 frames it takes to get the short hop footstool,
Right.
because you need to understand that even though footstool can be frame 4, because of the way animations work, sometimes they're not available to footstool the first frame.
Right.
So if you talk to Peebnut, he can explain it better than I can. I'm sure he would be willing to answer your questions. And then he's on Twitter. Very nice man. One of the nicest people in the Smash community. So
Cool.
I can't imagine him not answering your questions.
Cool. I will.
And then of course, like you said, you wanted to just see him play, and he does it in pretty much every set ever. So
Cool.
I'm sure there'll be something that he's in. Actually, let me just Google, or sorry, YouTube Peebnut and see if anything comes up. So the very first thing that comes up is a Peebnut making Mega Man look godlike video. So that's there. There's Peebnut versus Cola, Peebnut versus Peanut, Peebnut versus DK Will from CEO. To be fair, I think he does it more recently, so you can just do it by upload date.
Right.
There's plenty of videos of him doing that. He played versus Mars. I'm trying to remember if he does it. He does it multiple times versus Mars, but he also messes it up multiple times versus Mars. So he played Jazzo's Ken at CO, and I haven't seen that set, but I assume that he did it there as well, since there's a lot of windows where there's time where you can react to it, but not time where you have to punish with anything else.
Against who? Jazzo.
Yeah, so Mega Man has a frame 8 up smash, so anything that's less than, or that's within those footstool frames, but less than 8 would be something that he would probably try and footstool, leaf shield, footstool, Z-drop.
I see Peanut versus Jazzo, but I don't see Peebnut. I see Peebnut versus Vendetta.
They might have misspelled it.
Okay, that works too.
It's P, but with a B
Right.
between the nut.
Right.
Here, I'll just post it in the chat.
That works too.
Alrighty.
All right, man. Well, again, super appreciate you. Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure, Smithy.
Talk to
And
you.
we will talk again on Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Tony. Have a good night, man.
All right, have a
Feel
good night.
better.
Bye.
Bye.